what if I could interview the CEO at LPL?
Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, the home for financial advice in a language you can understand. Created by Marc Freedman of Freedman Financial, he and his team of certified financial planner professionals will discuss timely topics that help individuals and families make smart financial decisions. And now, get ready for this week's edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial.
Welcome back to another edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. My name is Marc Freedman, and I'm joined by a very special guest today. This is Rich Steinmeier, CEO of LPL Financial. Rich, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here, Mark.
Yeah, so here we are in Kauai, Hawaii. Not a bad place to do a little interview.
Not a bad place to do a lot of things.
I know. So we're here for an LPL conference, enjoying ourselves. And I know oftentimes those that watch this podcast ask for us to get other faces besides just myself, Marion, and Christian on the screen. So we figured, why not start at the top and invite our newest CEO, Rich Steinmeier, to join us. So Rich, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the role that you play as CEO at LPL.
Yeah, so I have the privilege of being almost a year in the role of CEO at LPL Financial. My job is to shepherd a firm that can create the conditions for fantastic advisors to deliver exceptional advice to clients. And so that means building the technology, making sure that we have the controls and infrastructure support that is right, and having tools and resources to help folks really deliver outstanding results for American families.
Yeah, and I've been with LPL since 1991. My father since 1987 is when he joined. So I've seen a lot of changes in the firm, and so I guess I'm a bit of a historian, I guess, whether I wanted to be or not. And you come in, how many years ago was it when you joined the firm?
7 years ago.
And you've just seen some tremendous change, even in that period of time, from where the company was to where it is today.
Yeah.
How has that even evolved?
Well, so I think the firm was a really great firm that was oriented with a culture of supporting our advisors and making sure we showed up every single day to ensure that they could be their best. And I think that hasn't changed. But what has changed is the firm has matured dramatically. We are now the fourth largest broker-dealer in the country.
Wait. The fourth largest broker-dealer?
Yeah.
I mean, all right, so kind of put that into perspective for our listeners.
Yeah.
Who's bigger and who have we surpassed that might surprise some people?
So we've surpassed everyone other than
the top
Morgan
three.
Stanley, Merrill Lynch, and Wells Fargo. Wow. So the fourth largest broker-dealer by assets in the country is our firm, and we've surpassed a number of firms as even in the 7 years that I've been here.
It's amazing.
And that leads to really the ability to make continued investments to support advisors and support their clients.
Yeah, I mean, the company has just grown so much, and I've made comments to so many advisors that I've grown to be friends with here at this place is that I think LPL has the deepest bench it's ever had before. I mean, the people that you have hired over the past few years, the quality and the depth of people that really help to build the infrastructure of this firm is really remarkable. And I don't think that the public sees this. In fact, the public, in some cases, doesn't even know who LPL is. Yes. And we'll get to that in just a second. But tell me about the depth of hires. Where have you found these people? LPL clearly has the resources to bring in some of the best people, unlike they may not have had before.
Yeah, it's interesting because while some of the general public may not know as much about LPL, folks that are in the financial services industry does.
Absolutely.
And I would say that we are one of the, if not the leading story as a firm that continues to progress and get better. And so, whereas 7 years ago when I came here, I had to draw on my Rolodex to say, hey, this place is great, you'd love it. That's not what's happening now. Most folks who are in the know are trying to get to this firm because we're innovative, we're client-centric, meaning advisor-centric, and we're challenging convention to try to be the leading firm in wealth management. And folks want to be on a team that's a winning team. And so we're seeing a lot of folks that want to join.
Yeah, and in the world of technology these days, I think LPL has really stepped up to the plate and delivered something really spectacular, both to the end user, to the client, to us as the advisor, and the resources that we have. I mean, you've got a great team of people helping you do that.
Yeah, so that's one where we've really stacked in a ton of talent because it is a more complex environment. You think about the threat environment, cybersecurity. You want to make sure you are with a firm that is a rock solid firm, from making sure that your data is secure, that the capabilities are there. We continue to evolve in a changing regulatory environment so we stay compliant. And there we're led by a CTO who just won CTO of the Year.
I just saw that at the Wealthies, right?
Management.
I didn't even know that was such an award.
Yeah, CTO of the Year. And because he's a fantastic leader and he's attracted a ton of talent, and we have a really strong technology organization.
I love it. I was hanging out with Greg at a previous conference, and he was telling me about how, as Chief Technology Officer, he has his staff send what what he's created as these fictitious emails to staff to see if they can respond and react and know that this thing is not real.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's setting people up all the time to challenge us, to keep us on our toes, because look, in the world of technology today, there's a lot of fraud that's out there. There's a lot of scams that are out there, and I think LPL does an extraordinarily good job training us, training their team on how to identify when something doesn't look right at the level of technology.
Yeah, I think that's the world we're in. And you've got to not be naive in the world we're in today. There are a lot of bad actors in the marketplace. And so you need to be with a firm that every day is as diligent as possible and is looking around corners and challenging convention to make sure that we are ahead of the bad actors. And we feel really good about where we are.
So now you're ahead of the game. You're number 4, the 4th largest. And yet LPL is now about to launch, or in the process of launching, a campaign to really talk about who LPL is. Because, you know, I was talking with a couple other advisors here at the conference, and they said, yeah, I don't think my clients still know who LPL is, or around that, but I'm finding just the opposite. Because LPL has purchased so many firms, become so broad and deep, I'm seeing more and more people walk into us not even realizing that they had LPL accounts, but because they have a 401k or they have some small account with an advisor, they didn't even realize it was LPL. And now when they see that we're with LPL, they go, oh, how does this all fit together? So maybe you can help the audience here understand why LPL launched this campaign to try to do it.
Yeah, so I think you're right. A lot of times what we would have is that end investors would say, oh, I'm with an LPL advisor, and they didn't place who LPL was, the strength of the firm, that we are the 4th largest. I mean, that's surprising even to folks that are with us. And so the point is, we ascended to a point where we work with the best financial advisors in America. And we needed to make sure that this firm that has $2.2 trillion in assets and makes investments that are outsized relative to anyone else in the industry is also known, because the partnership between ourselves is incredibly important. But more often than not, most of the end investors and folks just really know the advisor, he or she is who they should know. But I think, so we've launched a brand campaign with Anna Kendrick. We've had one spot, we're introducing a second spot, and we're going to do more and more to be present on Wall Street Journal, CNBC, those places where you can really begin to learn who are the financial services firms that matter and who are innovative in making investments.
And I know one of the questions that you've been trying to throw out there as a tagline is trying to answer the question, what if you could?
Yeah.
And for those of you that listen to our radio show on 92.5 The River, that listen to the podcast, you're going to hear us leveraging that expression, what if you could?
Yeah.
And so, you know, my question today was, what if we could get the CEO of LPL Financial on a podcast? So we made that happen. So we're trying to give answers and trying to provide some depth to the question, what if you could? We're asking our clients this every day. We're incorporating it into our conversations that we have in client meetings. Maybe you could give us some perspective on how this what if you could idea came about. What was it that the ad agency said, hey, this makes sense to try to launch this, what if you could?
Well, so I think if you start at the beginning, what we said was, we want to be a forward financial services firm. And so many of the other financial services firms will show, you know, people on a beach flying a kite with their grandchildren, walking through, holding hands, and it just felt like tired and the same. And we don't want to be the same. We aspire to show up differently. And so what we started challenging was, how do people get to the best outcomes? And you don't get to the best outcomes by starting with I can't or what I can't, right? And so how you get to the best outcomes are, what's the art of the possible? What if I could? And that's so much of what those conversations that you're having are, which is not, you say it's not, you know, saying no to everything, but knowing what you can say yes to.
Right.
And those are the questions which are, what's possible for you? How do we get to possible outcomes instead of just saying, no, we can't do it? And that really started the ball rolling. That was our creative, and they were fantastic in it. And then it got fun, and we started playing with it a little bit more, and it really is enduring.
Yeah, and that's what we've done at Freedman Financial is, you know, oftentimes when people think the word financial advisor, you think just investments. Well, we are far more than just investments at Freedman Financial. As many people know, we are a planning firm first. We know the big picture of your life. We know where everything is and what everything is worth. But there's all different variations of the way you can engage with a financial advisor. And one of the great things about affiliating with LPL as a financial advisor is LPL lets you build a business in the way you think it's best to serve your clients.
Well, because we know that you know your clients better than we do. And so it would be full of hubris for us to tell you how to do your job. And that's what a lot of other firms do. They tell advisors how to. You will do this. And we think, how do we enable advisors to live their best expression of how to support their clients? And as you said, you start with a broad picture, and that's the right way to do it. And you've created that, and your father created that, and you've lived that legacy over decades. And so for us, it is how to best allow you to express yourself to your clients in the ways that Freedman Financial has and continues to.
Well, I want to thank Rich Steinmeier for joining us today. It's great to always have a new face here on the podcast. You know, Marion and I usually back and forth, and then there's Christian and I, but wonderful to have you here, Rich.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks.
Great
And if
to see
now's
you.
the time for you to get serious about your financial planning or investment management needs, we hope you'll give us a call, 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. Or feel free to sign up for our free weekly newsletter that lands every Friday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in your inbox. All you need to do is go to our website, freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman, 2 E's and a D, financial.com. Go to the bottom of any page, put your name and your email address in, and voila, every Friday you'll start to receive that free weekly newsletter. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you for watching Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Well, that was Rich Steinmeier, CEO of LPL Financial. I want to thank him for joining us today in Kauai, Hawaii, and helping me to get to answer the question, what if I could interview the CEO at LPL?
During today's episode of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, your host may have discussed specific financial planning and investment ideas that are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Please remember that investing involves risk and may include loss of principal. Always consult a certified financial planner professional, qualified attorney, or tax advisor prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.